Hello, and a very warm welcome to another interesting edition of Lifelines with Mima. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're discussing the issue of child brides. Having been born a Muslim girl myself, that's a very familiar subject to me. It promises to be an interesting edition. It promises to teach you something new. And trust me, you are going to enjoy. There's more after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Lifelines with Mima. We're treating the subject of child brides today. With me now, I have our first client for the day. Her name is Jemima. Let's meet her. You're welcome, dear.
Thank you, Mima.
Welcome. Thank you for agreeing to share your story with us. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure, Mima. If my story can help other girls, then I'm willing to share it.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Okay. So, could you tell us briefly this story and what brings you today?
I was 13 years old when my father gave me out to his friend for marriage as a fulfillment of the promise he made to him. I begged my mom so that she could talk to him, but she said there was nothing she could do about it.
Wow.
On the day of the wedding, I was hoping that something would happen so that the wedding could stop. But the wedding kept going on, and I wanted everyone to see how bad it was to give a 13-year-old girl out to a 42-year-old man who already had 2 wives. At 14, I got pregnant. But my body couldn't carry the pregnancy. My private part tore during childbirth. It resulted to an ailment. The doctor said it was fistula. I had fistulae between my bladder, my private part, and rectum. All fluid just peeped into one, and it smelled so bad. No one could stand the smell, not even me.
Wow. How about your parents? Where were they when all this was happening?
They weren't there. It was just me and the man I married. But when they told him I had fistula and he couldn't stand the smell, he sent me back to my parents that he doesn't want the marriage again. My parents too couldn't stand the smell. So they built a shack house behind our house. I lived there for months like a dog until a foreigner from an NGO heard about me and came to my help.
Wow. This is really sad.
She arranged for a surgery for me. A surgery that I later found out that my husband can afford it. But yet he kicked me out.
Wow. How about your baby?
I haven't set my eyes on him since he was born.
Wow. How about your parents?
I haven't seen them for 3 years. I have been working with the NGO, and it was there I found an Ethiopia friend who was also rescued by the NGO. She had a similar case with mine, only that hers was genital mutilation. She later started working here in Nigeria.
With the same NGO?
Yes.
I see. She's the lady you came with outside?
Yes.
I see. So, do you think she would be willing to share her own story too?
I don't know. You could ask her.
Okay. All right. I'm really happy that you were able to overcome this, and I really bless the NGO that came to rescue you. And I want to appreciate all of the people out there doing this work, saving these girls. I'm really happy that you came out of it. Okay. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
My name is Nadia. I'm Jemima's friend. I am a victim of female genital mutilation. I remember I was 11-year-old when it all happened. My aunt and my grandma came to visit. They came in with a strange lady. I felt kind of uneasy when I first saw the lady, but I wasn't sure why. They were looking at me and they were smiling in a very funny way. They were complimenting my beauty and maturity, so it made me still feel uncomfortable. Shortly, my mom called me into the guest room. She told me she wanted me to try out a new dress my aunt had made for me. On getting into the room, I felt this sudden fear inside of me. I didn't know why. And I tried to run out of the room, but my aunt quickly blocked the entrance and stopped me from going out. Then my mom gripped me with my grandma helping her. They pulled me down. And suddenly the old lady reached for her purse and took out a razor blade from inside the purse. And I felt so scared. I was wondering what was happening. I was screaming and begging for help. I even called out to my mom to tell me what was going on and to rescue me. But she said nothing. She instead pinned me down to the ground. And my grandma spread my legs open. And the next thing I felt was a very agonizing pain searing through me. And even though my eyes were shut, I could still see the blood flowing from underneath me. In the haze of my pain, I could hear a celebratory cry people usually shouted at weddings. And at that moment, I lost my vision. It was gradually going into darkness. When I came to consciousness, I was in a dark room. My hands and my legs were tied with cloth rags. I think I was there for about 3 days. I still felt the pain inside of me. I passed out again. I was just drifting in and out of consciousness. I was there alone, without food, no water, nobody to comfort me. No one even said sorry to me. It took about a week for the bleeding to stop and even much longer for the pain to subside. Nobody even told me what had happened. No one explained to me what had happened. At that point, I knew I had lost something I could never get back. I no longer felt love for family anymore. And I had to run away from home to join the fight for the other girls who were intending victims for the torture I had gone through, all in the name of female circumcision. I have been fighting against female genital mutilation, and I will continue to until this menace is outlawed and completely banished from existence.
Welcome back. You're still watching Lifelines with Mima. That was a very deep and sad one for all of us here. The issue of female genital mutilation is a matter for another day, but it's another evil practice that something has to be done about. One day soon, we will address the issue. we will bring someone else on the episode that will throw more light on the matter. But the truth is that it's there, we must address it, and this must end. Back to Jemima now. We're treating the issue of child brides today. I still have with me Jemima, and now we've been joined by her parents, Malama Zainab and Malam Ibrahim. You're both welcome. Welcome. Okay, before I come to them, Jemima, I know you're not expecting them, and you've not seen them in a long time. How do you feel?
I don't know what to think or how to feel now. I miss them, especially my mom. I don't know if I can forgive them. They married me out to a 42-year-old man. And I got pregnant at the age of 14. I was carrying a baby that gave me an ailment that I couldn't stand the smell. I was frustrated. I was down. I almost lost my life, you know.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Mima, they didn't even let me see my son, my own child. And my so-called parents could not even fight to get them back.
So you haven't seen your child? I see. Okay. All right, let me start with you, Malam Ibrahim. Do you think it was right marrying her off at the age of 13?
Fatima was young, about 13. Even lokacin that time, she was already grown up.
I see.
Come, Robert. I married your mother here when she was 10. She's a very strong woman and very beautiful. She gave me 10 children, and up till now, she's very strong. Don't ubanki, don't put manki say is where we can kawo karamana. Kin ga diyanki wo? Kin ga diyanki?
To malam.
Har ta kawo mu kamar an kawo mu kotu.
Malam,
Kin ga abin da kika haifa?
Malam, let me ask you. Couldn't you have at least allowed her finish secondary school?
School?
Yes.
School was not useful to her. Even Makoda Chema, she attended school lokacin, it would have still been useless, not useful. Because that coma, she will come back to the house and sit down. So school was not useful that time. It was useless.
I see. And for you, Malama, you were okay with this?
To, yarinya mai tarbiyya ta san yadda za ta yi ta kula da mijinta, da 'ya'yanta, da gidanta, ko ba haka ba?
So, is it possible that you gave her out because the person was a rich person? Because he had money?
Not because of money. Because the reason why we married her out, you see this knowledge, this vocal, I have a very big problem with it.
Okay, tell me the problem.
Saboda, if we didn't marry her out, we leave her to go to school. That is when they will come back to the house and start behaving like men.
Why did you see me run around the house like a man?
Okay, so let me ask you again. Do you feel that you've done well?
We did this thing. We just did this thing to protect her.
I see.
Muna mata kariya ne.
Kwarai kuwa.
Kariya ne kawai. Na protection.
Mima, I was well behaved. I was a good child. I was never for once disobeyed them.
Okay. So let me talk to you now. Now, every woman, yes, we can go forth and have children. That's okay. But the truth remains that the sign of seeing a lady's period does not mean her body is mature enough to carry a child yet. Not even mature enough for even sexual intercourse. Some ladies see their period as late as 16, 17. Others as early as 9. That doesn't make all of them the same. The body is different. The fact that her mother was able to come through does not mean that her case will be the same. Her baby may have been bigger, the circumstances different, her body is different. No child should be made to go through this. You saw it yourselves, how bad it was. This man in question abandoned your child when she had crisis. When you gave him something in trust, what did he do? He dropped her off with you when things got bad. So really, there's no justification for this. A few more years after would have just been okay. And education is not just for staying at home alone. A woman can even be at home, caring for her family, and still do good. Help educate the children, help maneuver life. How do you do that if you are an illiterate yourself? So, no, your child is broken. She has suffered a lot. She has suffered a lot. But for this NGO, she probably won't be alive today. And you see, on top of it, her son. She hasn't set eyes on him. And that should not be so. She didn't do anything to deserve this. So as much as possible, even you as a mother, you should feel her pain. This is not right. How about her child?
Before I will talk about the child, I have not set my eye on the child. Amma, Jimmy. You see, we are from the village. The place where we stay, the place is very far. No education like that. Amma, if at all I allow Jemima to go for school, killer. The way you are talking to us for here, and we are understanding about education. Maybe she would have been the one to explain for us.
Yes.
Amma, we didn't allow her to go for makaranta. And kuma saboda haka, it has brought about this gwaja. Amma, Jemima, we are very, very sorry. Forgive us. We are your parents. Everybody have fought, and now we are sorry. It will not happen again. We are very sorry. We are very, very sorry.
Ki yi haƙuri, kin ji wannan diyar ta, ki yi haƙuri. Mun yi maki laifi, ba mu sani ba, ki yi haƙuri. Kin ji ko?
Sorry, Jemima, sorry.
To ya isa.
We will try our best and look for the child.
Okay.
We will try.
Okay.
Mama, we are very sorry.
Ya haƙuri.
Jemmy, we are very sorry.
It's okay.
Very sorry.
There you have it. Reconciliation has begun. Peace has come. At the end of the day, love is what truly matters. We'll definitely get her son back. We'll get to the bottom of it and ensure that she's reunited with her son. But the truth is this. It doesn't have to end this way for anybody. No girl should have to live this way. No child should be married off too early. It's not written anywhere in the holy books that your child must be married off without her consent. She should be old enough to take that decision. It's okay to be married to have children, but not as a child. Because you know what? It kills them, it damages them, and in the long run, everybody will suffer for it. Of course, you also know the issue of female genital mutilation is a horrible practice. When you feel like you are doing that to stop the girls from being promiscuous, you get the direct opposite in result. Why don't we instill values, the fear of God, the difference between right and wrong in our children, and trust that they will go forth and behave well, rather than selling them off like that, rather than mutilating them, rather than putting them through practices that are harmful and terrible and being shut down across the globe. I want us to think about this deeply. This is affecting us as a continent very, very badly. Let's save our children from these harmful practices. Let's bring them home. Let's give them education and allow them to flourish. There's more after the break. We'll be right back. welcome back. We've come to the end of our time. But before we go, I'd like to leave a little something with you. Let's allow our children be children. No religion justifies giving children out in marriage at such a tender age. The damages that are done are irreparable. Most of us adults walk around with these things as if they are nothing. But I tell you, the cut is deep and the damages go far. So many children are giving out every day to older men that they know nothing of, forced into marriages that they don't deserve. Rather than being in school, rather than allowing them flourish, rather than allowing them do what they need to do as children, we force them into slavery, as far as I'm concerned. At the end of the day, they suffer, they die. Some don't even live to tell their stories. Like you see, some are bitter, some are damaged forever, some are thrown away and abandoned by their families. Do they deserve that? No. This should end, and this horrible mentality should change, because our children deserve to be children. When it's time for a young girl to get married, she will mature in age, mature physically, mature biologically, and get married. It doesn't take marrying them off early to keep them decent. When a girl is well trained and given the right morals with the fear of God, she can get married at 25 and still be a virgin. From all of us here, and until we see you next time, always remember that you don't need to go through life's issues alone. You know why? Mima cares.